All right, folks, welcome to the SEO Science Show. My name is Josh Bachynski, and I will be your host for today. The SEO Science Show is the show that tries to use science to prove what the scientific ranking factors are to try to reverse engineer Google's algorithm. Turn that off. There we go. and it's the funny thing about the show is I have no idea how to use OBS. That's the funny part. Where I'm like, how does OBS work? I don't know. I thought I'd clicked all the right buttons. I thought you'd see my werewolves when this all came out, but sadly that's not what happened. So for those of you who have not watched the SEO Science Show before, I say very outlandish things that gets myself into trouble with the SEO world. Basically, everyone hates me, which is fine. But I love you. I'm doing this for you, my viewers. And I'm going to go through some science stuff today. I'm going to go through some of the latest results that we've got. So I'm going to share a little bit of kind of what's going on there and some of the recent wins we've come up with. You were watching some of those to start. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the scientific theories that we're coming up with, about how the rankings are working. And and also if you have any questions, please ask them at the top right-hand side of YouTube. You should see a chat box there. If you're watching live, you can ask on the top right-hand side. I'd love to answer any SEO questions that you might have. Let me go there now to make sure that people can hear me. If you guys can hear me, please let me know, or if there's any other problems with the show, let me know, because I think it's all working right and then it's not, so go ahead, let me know if I don't quite have it. And also, if you want to put your URLs, a page you want me to look at and give you some SEO advice for, if you want me to do screaming frog analysis on one of them, if you have a particular problem on a page, send it to put it in the chat, and I'll probably have to approve it because it doesn't want you to put URLs in the chat, so I'll probably have to approve it. So don't get afraid if it doesn't show up right away. And I will take a look at the page, and I will tell you what I think is going on with it, what I think the problems are with it, and what you could do to improve the SEO for it. So what's new in the SEO world? Well, not much. The SMX white hat folks continue to be a little irascible on Twitter. I might have said something last week that got myself in trouble. But I stand by the comparison. Google's not your friend. John Mueller's not your friend. He is more or less the enemy. He's not there trying to help you rank. I'm sorry if he doesn't like the comparison. But that's the truth. So don't go asking John Mueller about stuff that you hear in any of these science-based shows, because not only can he not answer, he's not allowed to answer. You'll be fired if he answers you. But he doesn't understand it from our perspective, you know, and he can't tell you even if he could understand it from our perspective. So you're just wasting your time. He's not your friend. John Mueller's job is not to help you rank. In fact, John Mueller's job is to stop you from ranking. So it boggles my mind that people still go and ask him questions. So I'm just trying to warn you from that. He's not your friend. He's not helping you. Just be careful about that. I mean, if you want to go ask him, go ahead, but it's not going to help you out. And so, like I said, if you have any more SEO questions, please ask them in the chat. Put your URLs in there. We're going to have kind of an open SEO analysis day. Go ahead and put those in there. And I'll be talking about some of our scientific theories that we come up with a little bit later in the show. So, in fact, I'll get some of the questions right now. By IT asks, Josh, can you talk about September 4th, 5th update? What has Google changed? So that's a great question by IT. I have a long answer and a short answer for you. The long answer is who knows? It is not useful for you to diagnose those problems at that level. Google sometimes admits what they've updated, and so sometimes, very, very rarely these days, it makes any sense to even try to imagine what they changed on any particular update. But due to the fact that they don't tell us what they changed on these core updates, then there's no point in even trying to think, what did they change, what was it, and scratching your head and going around frantically changing your links, and then disavowing your links, and then deleting this and deleting that, and adding this and adding that. That's not going to help you. It's like you're going to see a medical doctor for the first time. They might be vaguely interested in what has happened recently, but at the end of the day, if there's some big systemic thing happening, like you suddenly are passing out, they don't know why, they're going to run a bunch of tests. They're not going to be like, oh, well, what happened to you 2 days ago? Like they may do that, but they're going to run a bunch of tests, and that's exactly what you should do too. You should run a bunch of tests. You should do a full audit. I have a course on here, how to do a full audit. It's free. Also, for my mentorship group, they get a much more in-depth course, of course. I didn't mean to say that way. They get a much more in-depth course, as you would imagine. My mentorship group is only $300 a month. It is like the elite university for SEO. It is based completely on scientific based knowledge. Don't believe me? Go to see our results. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof, bit.ly/SEO proof, PROOF. You will see in there examples of my students ranking, examples of my client size ranking, and you will see they're all recent. There's more than 300 pieces of proof in there that we know what we're talking about, and that my science has found the secrets, and I have. That's why I have to vague it up and not talk about it. And that's why all the other groups are copying me. As much as they claim they're not, they are. No one was talking about vectoring before I did. And now they're all doing, oh, it's vectoring. Yeah. So that came from me, whether they wish to admit it or not. That's fine. Because they should be following me, because I know what I'm talking about and they don't. So that's good. So you're in the right spot. And again, don't take my word for it. Every SEO out there says, oh, I'm the best, of course. Everyone's going to say they're the best. So don't listen to my voice. Just the only voice part you should listen to is go to bit.ly/SEO proof and look at all the evidence. That's what should be cluing you in. I play some of it at the beginning. That's what should be cluing you in to who knows what they're talking about. And go to see the other groups, their evidence, and see what evidence they have and what evidence they don't have. And sadly, you're not going to find any other group out there that has the evidence that I do. Not only do they not have as much evidence as I do, I have like 310 pieces of evidence in there. Not only Munir, is that how you pronounce your name? Sorry, man. Not only do they not have as much pieces of evidence in there, like they're like, check out our results kind of section, whatever it is. I have 310 and counting, all completely recent, all through these last 2 years of all these crazy updates and whatnot. Everyone else falls down. We get up, we go higher. But they don't even have any, some of them don't even have any evidence at all. Why would you ever listen to any group that does not say what I'm saying? Go look at my evidence, right? Why would you listen to any show, free or not, if they don't at least offer any kind of evidence that they know what they're talking about? You've got to protect yourself. You all have to protect yourself out there against everybody, including me. You need to protect yourself against everybody. This is how you know that I'm on your side, because I'm telling you to protect yourself against everybody and me. Go see their proof. Go see their evidence. And if you really want to get into a robust course that is a serious university where I take responsibility for your rankings and I care whether you rank, and so I only let certain people into the group who have certain skills and a certain level that I think is going to succeed. That's how you know my university is the best one to go to. It is $300 a month. Another group also slagged me off recently and said, why would you pay $300 a month when you can get from us for free the same stuff? One, it's not the same stuff. It's obviously not the same stuff. They wouldn't need to try and take me down if it was the same stuff. They have no idea what they're talking about, and so now they're going to look into vectoring because they know I know what I'm talking about, and they know they don't. Their tools suck. They don't work. Don't use them. I'm not going to mention them. But the point is that you need to look at the evidence for these people. And the other point I was going to make, I'm not going to mention it, Jonathan. People who know, and people who don't, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not starting the flame war. All I'm trying to say, the whole reason why I've said this, the point is that if you think $300 a month is and they also made a comment about how it would quote unquote break your mortgage, end quote. If $300 a month is too much for you to afford, or if you think $300 a month is too much for SEO education, given how much money you can make through SEO, then I'm sorry, SEO is not for you. Get out now. Quite frankly, you will never succeed if you don't have at least $300 a month to spend on it right now to get the proper education and how to do this. You'll never succeed. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You cannot succeed on free SEO advice. You cannot win on free SEO advice. You just can't. Vaguisms and talking about, stuff vaguely, it'll help you maybe a little bit. I'm hoping the information I give on this show will help you a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm saying, guys, you got to join my group because that's where all the good stuff is. That's where I go into details. That's where we get all the wins from Bitly SEO Proof. I don't Photoshop them. They come from the real thing. It's at secretseo.guru. At secretseo.guru, or you email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I need to ask you some questions anyway, so even if you sign up, I'm going to ask you some questions to see if you apply to our group. Craig says, but SEO is only $5 on Fiverr. Yes, and see how far the $5 SEO gets you. Let's give that a try. Go ahead. Let's see how far it gets you. See, don't do it on a site you care about. Try it on a site you don't care about. Yes, I know, Greg. You're just kidding. I know. Good. Phew, good. Okay, because that would be a problem. Dude, that would be a problem. So I'm sorry. But $300 a month shouldn't be breaking your mortgage. My guys are making so much money. They're like, whatever, $300 a month is nothing. So one, that's kind of a weird comment for them to say. It kind of shows you how much money they make, that they think $300 a month is a lot. Two, get your mom to pay for it. Get a loan. This is like, people pay $50,000 to $80,000 for their education at a university. If you think that $300 a month is a lot, then you're in the wrong industry. I'm sorry. The days where SEO could be learned for free is like 5 years ago. It's done. I'm sorry. It's just done. That's just the way it is. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to get you into the right industry. If SEO is not for you, you should be like, thanks, Josh. See you later. And never listen to my videos or in their videos again, and go get a job somewhere. Because at the end of the day, it's about your livelihood, right? And I'm trying to give you some tough love and help you and protect you and tell you the truth about the industry, and not blow smoke up your ass and make you think that, of course, you can rank for free and all you have to do is sign on to my tool, Pop or whatever, and you're going to be able to rank. It doesn't work that way. It's even if Pop was perfect, which it's not, it's a piece of shit. But even if it was perfect, and I know I've tested it, but even if it, and I know the science is based on, it's shit. But even if it was perfect, for the sake of example, let's say you did your on-page perfectly, you still have 7 other silos. You still have 7 other things which are vastly important to rank that you know nothing about, you didn't learn anything about from their group. And they don't have a tool to help you with either, which I have mastered and I have scientific proof and all of those things. So again, I'm just trying to protect you. I'm afraid it's at the end of you can't prepare to fight Conor McGregor for watching YouTube videos for free. You can't. You just can't do it. He will clobber you. Google is going to clobber you if you don't actually get the real coaching and training from the coach who knows what they're doing. And all the coaches who know what they're doing, who would train you to fight Conor McGregor in MMA, if you forgive the UFC example comparison, it's called a metaphor. SMX people. I'm not claiming everyone out there is an MMA fighter. Idiots. Josh is a fighter. Yes, it will end. This round will end. Trust me. But it is to help people. The coaches who know what they're doing, they charge money for it. That's what I do for a living. It takes me 10 hours a day to do all these scientific tests. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work for me to have the knowledge and to be the light years ahead of everybody else that I am. So that's the guy you want to train with, right? That's the coach you need to fight Conor McGregor. And if you think that beating Google in competitive SERPs is any easier than getting into a fist fight with Conor McGregor, you have sadly deluded yourself, all right? Ranking, what if I drank McGregor's whiskey? Will that help me? Will it help me rank? It might. It might help you. It might help you fight McGregor too, because you'll be all loose and he'll punch you, and you know how drunk people, hard to knock them out because the upper regions of their brain are not functioning anyway. It's all limbic system, just blah, they're all loose. But anyway, someone make a gif of this. Blah, blah, blah. That'd be great. That's a good attack piece against me. But anyway, I hope you guys get my point. And that if you got to prepare to fight Conor McGregor, you need to get coaches, and those coaches charge money. They're like, yeah, you cannot prepare to fight Conor McGregor with free YouTube videos, no matter how much you like the presenters. I'm flattered if you like me. I thank you very much. I appreciate it. It really makes me feel good. I like you too. And all the other YouTube people you might be following here. But you cannot prepare to fight Conor McGregor on free YouTube videos. You cannot prepare to rank your sites in any competitive niche without paid training. Free YouTube videos are just not going to cut it. Okay, so that rant done. So let's get to, I did see some more questions that were important here. So, so getting back to the original question by IT asked was, can you talk about the September 4th or 5th update? Why has Google changed? The answer is, I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth. And there's really no reason or way that you want to diagnose it in that way. And I've been saying this for years. This has been my story for years. Anyone who's watched me for years will attest that, yeah, sometimes Google comes out and says, we de-indexed this PBN, this huge PBN scheme on this date. So if you saw a problem with that, maybe it's related to the PBN links, maybe. And if you know you got links from them, then you can put two and two together. That's pretty safe of a judgment. But what if you went down on that date and you didn't, to your knowledge, have any links on that PBN network? What does it mean? It means Google's a bunch of lying sons of bitches. It means they hide things. They are doing this on purpose to mess with your head. That's their job. That's what they do. They're not your friend. So don't listen to a word they say. I don't even watch John Mueller anymore. I don't even listen to anything they say. I don't go to SE Roundtable. I don't listen to any of those people. I didn't even know that I had become the most hated again. I didn't realize I had made Nazigate, just like I made Disavowgate a few years ago. I didn't realize I'd even done that because I didn't even look at those SMX people or listen to them. I didn't even see it come up on Twitter, right? I had no idea that these people were hating on me last week. And they were like, Josh is a devil, that. Until someone said, hey, Josh, did you see this? I'm like, I didn't see it at all. I was, I'm going on doing SEO. I'm doing SEO tests. I have no idea what's going on. So, because I don't listen to any of them, because it's not worth listening to any of them. I reverse engineer the algorithms through doing science. I know exactly what they're doing. I give it my own name because I don't know what they called it, but I give it my own name of what it seems like to me is describing it. And my experiments, I can predict what's going to happen. I can explain to a very high degree why a page is ranking or not based on scientific proof, which is exactly what you want. Because you don't want to listen to Google because they lie to you anyway. So don't listen to Google. Don't try to spot check, don't ask other SEOs what they think changed on September 4th or 5th update. That is the exact wrong thing to do. The exact right thing to do is do a full audit and do the full process. Do the full process. Now, you might be wondering what the full process is. That's the process that I teach in my course. It's a process that I teach in my university. Let me give you some tidbits of what it is. Well, you've seen, guys, let me share my screen here. So you guys have seen here this formula. So the process would be, and you learn the rest when you join the university, when you join the course. And trust me, if you do not do each one of these formulas right, you're not going to rank. If you do not do each one of these silos, this is what I think siloing really is. If you don't do one of these, all these things correctly, you're probably not going to rank, unless it's a non-competitive niche. In which case, who cares? You rank anyway. Even the tools I mentioned previously would help you rank in a non-competitive niche. But so as you can imagine, the process guides you through all these steps. The first thing to do is a full audit to see where you're deficient in any one of these 8 silos. And then the full process makes a work list to help you fix these silos in the order that they probably should be fixed. And I'd be perfectly fine with leaking, even right now to you guys right now. I'll give you a bit of a leak. If you're doing the process, it really depends on, what's all this stuff? It really depends on other factors like your teams that you have to work and the time you have. But, this is one you could start working on right away, and you could always work on this and probably never be wasting your money and time. This one here, because if you have a tech problem, a big enough tech problem, then quite frankly, you're not going to rank at all. Like cruft pages, no tags, or like strange WordPress cruft or tags. Take a look for crawl anomalies, look around for URL parameters, duplicate pages, check to see if your canonicals are set up right. Do you have HTTPS? All that tech stuff, I have no problem leaking just for free to make sure you should do, all backed by science, guaranteeing that all that is a problem, not just guessing it's a problem. And then the on-page stuff, there's a lot of on-page stuff to do. There's the content vectoring you want to do. We don't do that anymore. There's the content vectoring you want to do. That's not what we use for it anymore. There's this thing you need to look at. There's this thing you need to look at. There's other little things in here you need to look at. I need to update this particular one. And so this is where you would learn a lot in the university of exactly how to do this, how this works, what this all means. But that's kind of where you could be starting for a lot of stuff. And then the rest of this stuff here, this one, and then all these here, or would be important to do. This would be the last thing I would do. I would not just blast links at it. There's a certain proper way of doing linking where you get the maximum optimal juice out of it. And there's a certain way to do linking where you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to derank yourself. You have to go to university to learn the proper way to do this. You cannot become a medical doctor by watching free YouTube videos. So we'll be here. I'm going to close the group pretty soon. I've got close to my cap of students, so don't take too long. But if people keep stealing my ideas and keep flaming me on Twitter, maybe I'll just maybe I'll just close the group and stop making public videos. So that could happen too. So guys, join when you can, because I'm not going to be doing this forever. And here's the proof that all this works. I suggest you go there and check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go and see at least that I haven't, and I challenge you to take the images you see in here and find how to rasterize, find how to check to see if an image is photoshopped in Google, and put my images in there, and you'll see that I haven't, except for cutting out people's names and stuff like that, I haven't edited a single important piece of data in them. And I presume my students haven't either. I don't know why they would do such a thing. So anyway, that was what the process would encounter. And you got to fix everything. Basically, if you have a major hit on a date, take it as an opportunity to go and fix everything. Because at the end of the day, there could be something major that happened. You could have been hit by 4 or 5 things. You could have been hit by something that Google didn't mention. You never know, right? So at the end of the day, I would use it as an opportunity to fix everything that you possibly can. So let's go back here. Med El Asal asks, did you try Website Auditor? How does it compare to Screaming Frog? No, I have not tried Website Auditor. I look at it and the user interface is too much stuff, and I go, no, I back out. I'm too busy. Sorry, I'm too busy. So that's just the way it is. I haven't tried it. We have our own tools. Nobody else in the and this is going to be a very blunt admission, but it's true. Nobody else in the industry has any clue at how the algorithms are all working. Google's brilliant. Google's so brilliant when you really figure out how they've written one algorithm to do 50 things, and the way that they're doing reverse SEO algorithms, and the way they're doing anti-SEO algorithms just to screw with you. Like, for example, if you don't understand multivariable indexing, you can't do single variable tests. And your correlation tests are going to be way skewed off. Instead of like having a standard deviation of 2 points, you're going to have a standard deviation of like 6 points on a 10-point SERP, and so or more. So if you don't understand how QDD is working and how QDD aspect is working, and you don't understand how multivariable indexing is working, then you can't even do. And this is the way Google has made it to try and screw with us. You can't even do single variable testing, and all the single variable testing you've been doing for the last at least 6 months. Whenever they did that, I think it was March is when they started really turning that on. I think it was the Florida update. So what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 6-7 months. All those tests are invalid. All of those tests are completely invalid if you do not know how to isolate for and test for those problems. And so, yeah, even if you think you've got a good result, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but there's going to be a huge standard deviation problem there that you're not accounting for. So, and the fact of the query's freshness, the freshness boost, the indexing boosting, if you don't know how to account for those either, then all your single variable tests are going to be all completely flawed. So, I mean, you just give up, just go home basically at that point. So I don't have time, sadly, doing all that testing. I don't have time to try new SEO programs. And quite frankly, my point is that nobody in the industry, sadly, really has any idea how it's working. They're all guessing, and their guesses are, in some cases, not only like 100% off. Their guesses are like they're completely in another field. Like they think they're playing cricket, but they're playing baseball. Like it's totally different. It's completely different than how people think it works. And so there's no tools out there that are even worth using, in my opinion. We've stopped using all the tools. We've stopped using Cora. We stopped using Pop. We stopped using all the tools. I no longer recommend them just because they do not work, not because of any personal beefs I might have with the authors of those tools. I was always willing to push their tools as long as they work, and as soon as they stop working, I don't, because I'm an honest guy. So sorry, that's the way it is. As soon as they'll catch up with me, they're starting to sniff around my theories, and I think in about 6 months to 12 months, if they figure out how multivariable indexing works, then they'll catch up, and maybe some of their tools will have value then, and then great, then we'll use them. I'll probably have my own tools built by then, so just for personal, private use in the group, I will never let my tools be used publicly. So you have to be a part of the group to use them. I'm getting one tool built right now. I've built the beta version, but I'm not that good of a programmer, so I'm not a programmer at all. So I'm getting a programmer to build it. But so no, I haven't tried Website Auditor. Screaming Frog is probably the best SEO tool. Search Console, Google Analytics. Those are the major ones. Hotjar is very good to use. I do not use Google AdWords Keyword Planner anymore for keyword research. Google is hiding and obfuscating information in Google AdWords Keyword Planner, sadly. So I don't use that anymore. SEMrush keyword tool is fine. Ahrefs keyword tool is fine. Anything that still gives you the real kind of ideas of what people are searching and what's going on. Thomas asks, how are the Moz SEO courses? And Meta Al response says, I checked them out. Moz courses are not worth it for the price. The certification part of it is a joke. Med Al is correct. I believe that gentleman is correct. I mean, if you know absolutely nothing, to do SEO properly, let's talk about that. What do you need to do? What do you need to know to do SEO properly? Let's talk about that. That's a very good topic. So let me open up a whiteboard here, and gave away some big secrets there. Okay, so what do you need to do SEO? Needs for SEO. What skills do you need? You need to understand HTML implicitly. Like, you need to understand how that works. You need to understand to a great degree how CSS and JS work. Like on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being novice, 5 being expert, you need to be a 5 on HTML. You need to be at least a 3 on CSS and JS. I would say, let's actually make that a little easier. I'd say a 3 at CSS at least, and I'd say at least a 1 on JS. You know to some degree how the JavaScript works. You need to understand web server tech, like cPanel, or even Linux control panel, even Linux servers and stuff like that, or how Apache and our IIS serves pages. You need to understand that at least to a 2 or 3, at the very least. How HTTP requests work. You need to understand URL parameters, or URLs period. You need to understand how that works. So any basic course that starts to teach you this stuff is good. And maybe the Moz course does that. I don't know. If it does, great. But then you're going to get a lot of crap in the Moz course as well. They're going to be telling you about title tags, and it would be a good idea to get that kind of in basic. That's the web tech side of it, and then you need to kind of you need to know web design to some degree. You're going to need to know sales and CRO to some big degree, 2 to 3. How that works. Now we need to know the SEO stuff. Traditionally, what was SEO? Like what are titles? What are the meta description? Meta keywords. You need to know, headings. Actually, headings are not important at all. You don't need to know anything about that. Titles aren't important at all either. You don't need to know anything about that. But you need to know when people talk about them, what links are, that kind of a thing. You don't really need to know anything about that. But, the meta keywords and description, putting as many exact match queries in there as possible, that may be a good idea, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just effing with you. Maybe that's the key to vectoring. Who knows? Join the university to get the real information. Do not listen to free SEO information online. But you need to know the traditional SEO stuff that people talk about. But you definitely need to know this. no joking. You need to know this, no joking. You need to understand this, no joking. And by understanding all this, you're going to understand to some degree how, notice how what I haven't written down here, WordPress. Notice I haven't written that down anywhere, because in understanding all this, you're going to understand it to some degree how a CMS works. But WordPress, if that's what you're using, but you need to understand kind of the guts of that too, and where it's putting the CSS and where it's putting that and how it does this, because that's just WordPress is not important in and of itself. Never use an out-of-the-box tool. You need to know how to do this all custom. Then you can use the tool, because then you know how to manipulate the tool. You might want to have some idea of what all this stuff is, but the people talk about, but that's going to be important. But you're going to learn that in the proper place. You're going to learn when you go to the proper university, namely mine. You're going to learn this in the proper and this in the proper relation, and how this is all important, and how this might affect at least your internet marketing, if not your SEO. So anywhere you can learn this for free, this for free, this for free, great. But the rest of this stuff here, quite frankly, kind of this stuff here, you can't learn for free. This is too specialized. This is too nuanced. This is too important. This is too valuable. This is too full of charlatans and too full of snake oil and too full of people guessing. This stuff you can learn for free on YouTube if you like, or take any low-cost course. And to be a SEO wizard, you gotta know this stuff. And to rank in any, you need to be an SEO wizard to rank in any important niches. This stuff all costs money, and it should cost money. If it doesn't, you're getting ripped off. You're paying nothing and you're still getting ripped off. So that's what I think about that there. Okay, let's see what other questions we got here. Okay, well, there you go. So the Beast just asked, what is the roadmap to become an SEO specialist and get a job? So that, you gotta learn that stuff that I just talked about. And then after that, I would go right to Upwork. Go right on to Upwork. Ask your friends if you can do some SEO for them. You have to join our university. In our university, I also have job opportunities for students. Jobs come my way that I don't want to do or I don't have time to do. I start throwing it down to students. We also have ways to monetize. So you'll have all kinds of ways to monetize inside the group. All kinds of ideas for affiliate, for lead gen, for client, for ranking your own sites, or any kind of internet marketing kind of strategies built on top of that, around that. So that would be a really good start. But what I'll really tell you, whether you join the group or not, is that Upwork. Upwork is a great place you can find information. You're going to want to be able to get some jobs in Upwork. You're going to need to do some jobs to begin with and get some people's recommendations on there. Get some reviews on there. Get some star ratings on there. But one of our ex-students in the group a year or two ago, he found a whole bunch of work on Fiverr. He got if I recall correctly, he got up to $1,500 US per month on Fiverr, and then he just quit. He's like, I don't need you anymore. I got work. So university's done. Now I'm working. I'm like, okay, bye. So, yeah. So what courses? Let's see what else we got here. I hate when it resets and I have to scroll back up. What is the roadmap? What's your thoughts on exact match domains? I would stay away from exact match domains. Sometimes Google boosts them, sometimes Google demotes them. So I would just stay away from exact match domains. We just recently found out what the perfect URL configuration is. It will boost you tremendously if you do it right. So that's in the group. So that could be the first question you ask when you join, if you like. This message of the so Mid Alisal says, to become an SEO specialist, take most of the free advice on a grain of salt. There's a lot of bullshit. You're absolutely right. There is. I recommend to learn from the best SEOs. That's what I recommend as well. And of course, I think that's me. I think I have the science to prove it. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof. And when you're in the group, read our test results and you should go, oh, wow, he does. Another good point is that Metasal mentions here in the chat is that someone asked, what results are you getting with your SEO? Because he admitted he's just doing trial and error, which is SEO. And which used to work 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, that's all you needed. SEO was so simple, it was just specificity and links. Anybody, I mean, that was the good old days when you could just rank like crazy, without even trying. And Metasal responds, I'm getting good enough results for my clients. Thank God the competition is not fierce, or he would be in trouble. This is his words. I'm careful about over-optimization. That's good, you're careful about over-optimization. Such a thing exists, but if you don't know how it exists, you don't know how to max it out. That's like not throwing any punches in the UFC fight because you're worried you might poke a guy in the eye. You're not going to win. If your arms are tied behind your back in a UFC fight, you're probably in a lot of trouble. So that's again why you should join the university, to know exactly to what degree you can punch and how far you can punch. And don't be afraid to sometimes cross Google's rules. Some of them I would never cross because the penalty can be harsh. And so read into what Med Al-Asal, thank you for saying that, is saying there. He's fully admitting that, yeah, you can do in non-competition, if you're in low competition niches and that's all you're ever going to compete in, then fine. Then yeah, save the money. Don't join the group. I mean, if you're curious as to how to really do it, eventually every niche is going to get to, like, where the high competition niches were like 5 years ago. Every niche is going to slowly get harder and harder and harder as more competition gets in it. Theoretically, the logic of capitalism says, the logic of competition says, that they're all going to get more and more difficult and more hard to rank in, until finally, and even the easy niches are hard. So eventually, you're going to have to get our knowledge. And like I said, I'm not going to be doing this forever. I would get in the program now before I either shut it down because I'm sick and tired of dealing with the haters and the copiers, or I just not make any shows that say anything and just have a private group, or I'm done. I've made all my money. I'm getting out, and you don't know how to do the scientific testing yourself. You can't go in the future and reverse engineer Google's algorithm. So I would take the opportunity now, when you have the chance. Jonathan says, I'm going to be a porn star like Chase. No, nobody wants to see that. I assure you, there's no porn site that would be applicable to me. That would not work. No one wants to watch that. And I don't actually know, in Chase's credit, I know you're making a joke. I don't know if he's actually performing in pornographic videos. I think he might be producing an adult website. I leave that to yourself whether or not you think. I leave that to yourself whether or not you think that is just as sleazy or not. I make no judgments there whatsoever. Chase is officially out of the SEO game as far as I know, and so he's off my radar for me to make fun of. I wish him well, and I wish him all the best. Oh, Clint is here. Well, hi, Clint. How you doing? Hey, buddy. Good to see you again. He defends himself by saying Bill Slosky was talking about content vectoring in 2016. 2016, back when you were on my show and I gave you a huge opportunity to get people. Oh, did I say that? Yes, I did. So, yes, I know. There's no new ideas in SEO, Clint. Just like I didn't steal scientific testing from Kyle, although I do fully admit he inspired me to do it seriously and to take it on full-time seriously. He didn't invent it. He didn't invent science. He didn't invent scientific testing in SEO. And every SEO who's worth any grain of salt has been doing scientific testing since the days of whenever before things began. But you guys are definitely talking about it because you claim Joe Priest was talking about it. Joe Priest used to be in my group, so that's where you heard it. So the only reason why you're talking about vectoring is because I talk about it on this show. And you guys are having trouble ranking, and you know that I know something you don't. So that's the why you're going for it, but that's fine. I have to expect that, being the top in the industry as I am. I have to expect that, the research industry for science SEO. I have to expect that there's going to be copiers, and that's just the way it is. And so I welcome you guys to try, because I'm light years ahead of where you guys are now. And so you can give it a shot. But like I said, if you don't understand multivariable indexing, you'll never get it to work. And there's a lot of little caveats and addendums that I just stumbled on by luck, quite frankly. And so, we would have all profited better, quite frankly, if we stayed friends. If we all stayed friends, we would have profited better. But this is the way you guys wanted it. You guys made another group, stole 50 of my students, offering for free what I charged them for. You even specifically said on your show last week that don't join Josh's group. You didn't say those words, but you said, why pay $300 a month when you can get for free? You're obviously referring to my group. So it's if open war is what you want, then that's what you got. But don't get pissy with me when you don't like the bed you're sleeping in. What other? Med LSL says, no way, even Cora, no. Yeah, I know, I like Ted, or I did before he kind of betrayed me in that regard. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to badmouth. Let's just say that I'm not even going to talk about that. Jonathan says, I just canceled my SEO Power Suite monthly package at its top as it's too computer hungry for people who have over 15 clients. Yeah, I don't know what SEO Power Suite is or does, but like I said, there's really no tool on the market that really understands how it's working. So quite frankly, we're making our own custom tools that will always be private inside the group. Med Alisal says, come on, WordPress is pretty handy. Yes, no, it is. You're totally right. WordPress is completely handy. I'm not saying you shouldn't use WordPress. I'm just saying you got to know how it works, right? You can't have your own brick and mortar store that you don't have the keys to the front door, or you don't know how to turn off the broiler or turn the lights on and off or turn your power on or off. That is not going to work for you as a business. Just FYI, if you don't have complete control of your store. And your website is your store. And so you need to have complete control of WordPress. And that means you either need to understand how it works completely yourself, or you need to have a web designer development team that knows how it works. There's more reasons. There's specific SEO reasons why I made that list that I did of what you need to learn. So trust me, you really are going to have a hard time doing some SEO, tech SEO specifically, most importantly, but some other SEO as well, if you don't understand implicitly the technologies I mentioned before. Your hands will be tied on a number of very important factors. And even some important diagnosis, even some important analysis of what's going on. White text and white background, baby. Yeah, I don't know what joke you're referring to there, Jonathan. I do not recommend you do that, folks. I do not recommend you put white text on a white background. Technically, that's called cloaking. That is not what I recommend to do. Don't have your links, your backlinks cloaked. We saw some pretty nasty results in the field from that. And don't try to cloak stuff on your page. Anyway, I've tested cloaking. Google doesn't seem to like it. So I would recommend, I'm always trying to give away for free the stuff not to do so people are not hurting themselves. And so don't be cloaking, try not to be cloaking content any which way. Google does not seem to like it, any of it, especially white text on a white background or black text on a black background, that kind of a thing. Med LS Asal asks, is Cora still sharp and aligned with your SEO approach? I'm afraid not. Jonathan says, I use Pop right now. He says, oh, not now, but 10 years ago. Okay. Okay, guys, so if you have any more SEO questions, go ahead and ask them there. If there's no more SEO questions, I can cut the show off. Let me look to see in the main show topics what I haven't talked about. I've talked enough about the group, so I'm not going to go through the recent wins. If you're interested, go to bit.ly/SEO proof. They're in there. I was going to give a little bit, well, you guys tell me. I could go through bit.ly SEO proof and some of the recent ones, and I can give a little bit more insight and hints into what may have caused such drastic boosts. But I can't, of course, just, oh yeah, exactly, we did this. So I can give you a little bit more, but if that interests you, please say so in the chat, and I will do that. But I'm not going to give you a lot more. Otherwise, hints, please. I'll let you hear the alternative first. Otherwise, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk a little bit more in my vault here about multivariable indexing and a little bit more stuff what's going on there. Or if someone wants to give me a URL to take a look at, I'll run the last tool that I think is interesting. Screaming Frog, which lets you diagnose a lot of things really fast. If you join the group and you know the ranking factors at a scientific level, Screaming Frog lets you see problems really, really quickly. Jonathan said hints, and Med LSL said hints. Okay, so the only people who voted have it, I guess. So let me close that out. Let me share my screen. And then, okay, let's go to here, and let's go to here, and let's go to here. Okay. So this one is, it says right there, I didn't limit it. So this is on page, a recent win that we got. And that's, as you can see, from around spot 48 up to spot 13, I believe, was how that one worked. So that was on page. So we do have some really good on page knowledge for that. Then this one was all keywords up. This was a smattering of different methods. This was a whole bunch of different things that we're doing, all kind of put together. On the day they were up, and then the month. So this is a whole bunch of different things as I recall. This was on a major update, as I recall. This was on a major update. That was the next one. This was on a major update, as I recall. I think the June update. And so this, again, is going to be a collection of different things. This is not going to be just a kind of one little tick, probably. This is going to be a collection of different stuff. So again, the group is really good for diagnosing, every SEO issue, but especially like the comprehensive ones. And so this was, I know exactly what this was, but I wish I could tell you. But yeah, so let's just say this was an interesting recent advancement. One of the advancements I know that in on page that is not in anyone's radar. No one's even thinking along these lines. No one's understanding along these lines. It has nothing to do with EAT. It has nothing to do with entity. That stuff doesn't exist as far as I know. It has nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. It's very specific stuff that you just gotta learn through diligent testing, quite frankly, and then testing in a scientific way, not just doing spot tests here or there and then saying done, okay, but doing tests in a certain way that you build a grand unified theory of ranking and you understand the principles of how algorithms work, like trying to understand how gravity works, and you come up with the E equals MC squared, the formula of how ranking works, and then you can guess, oh, I bet you if I test along these lines in these ways, and our testing is actually superior to everyone else's, and it's light years ahead of everyone else's what they're doing, and I can test 5 to 10 things at once, kind of a deal, and really kind of build this grand unified theory. So the reason I'm saying this is because I was able to make the discovery that led to this boost from page 2 to page 1 for that person, and then for the other person, what they go up on, and then it's so crazy, as you can see. The students are like, they couldn't believe it. They're so crazy. It's so crazy what I discovered, and how easy it is when you know the science, because you got to know this specific, exact right thing. It's like, how could I ever hammer on this keypad and the door ever open? I tried 10,000 things and it didn't work. And then I tried one specific thing and it worked. Yeah, because you knew the password. If you know the exact specific thing to type in, if you know the exact specific thing to do, then yes, it seems like magic. It's like, wow, it's so easy. It's not easy at all. It's super hard to find out what this stuff is if you don't do the testing, if you don't dedicate yourself to science, and you're not. And I'm educated at the graduate level, at the PhD level, to do this, of course. So that might be, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where I have part of the advantage. So this one got a boost for a client. Certain kind of changes are made a huge difference. And I want you to notice what they say here. They say they got lots of videos to catch up on. The course is intensive, guys. There's hundreds of hours of videos to watch. There's hundreds of hours or tons of hours of pin posts and guides to read and test results to read and stuff. Take it as a university. When you come into the group, you're going to be learning for 2 or 3 months. Don't just think you're going to jump in. And because we're light years ahead of everybody else, and we're way different than everybody else, how they think about SEO, you have to delete a whole bunch of SEO knowledge out of your head. It was never knowledge to begin with. SEO guessing out of your head, SEO myths out of your head, and fill it with the actual way SEO works and the actual way you should be thinking about it. So you understand the formula, you understand the equals MC squared of ranking. And then you can start making changes. But I wouldn't just, it's like Mickey Mouse in that old cartoon where the wizard leaves and the Mickey Mouse picks up his hat and just starts flinging around the magic wand. We have enough power for you to hurt yourself, especially if you don't ask us in the beginning, should I be doing this? That's another rule of the group. Once you come in, you need to ask us, I'm about to make this change, should I? Because quite often it's easier for us to fix something before you break it than after you break it. And we're like, oh, okay, well, blah, 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 blah. Like changing URL, for example, I've mentioned that, stuff like that. Here's another one that was the exact same thing. He was pretty impressed that worked. A 5-page jump with that thing. So that is the exact same thing I discovered recently. That's a very important. It's a very simple, easy thing to do. It took him 30 seconds once he knew to do it, and boom, page 6 to page 1. And so here's just a general recommendation of somebody who just started. I had to blank out a lot of what they talked about. And learning it with a scientific eye is the most important thing. Here's someone ranking for personal injury attorney. I believe that was a client, of mine. So this is one day. The 1 day impressions they got, the day of the change, where they started ranking page 1 for all these really high competition, really high costs. Anything in lawyer, as you know, is super high cost and super high competition. It's one of the most highly competitive, but it's one of the most lucrative. And so that was just from one day impressions after the boost. And then so this is a good example. It's like the results you should be looking when you look in your search console. It should look like this. If it doesn't look like this, then you need to get to the university to teach you how to do it. You don't have to wait. There's no waiting. There's no sandbox. You don't have to wait for any of that bullshit. People just say there's a sandbox and they have no idea what they're doing and they just don't rank. They haven't done enough yet in enough of the right spots. They haven't done enough of the right formula or silos yet. So, and that's the importance of science, is that it isolates the factors to get proven boosts, so you're not guessing. I don't recommend anything that is not based on the science of what I've tested and what I've done. Same deal. Again, this is the same deal. I think this was more, I believe this was some QDD manipulation. I believe this was some on-page manipulation. I believe this was some vectoring as well. I believe to get that particular thing. Here we have top 3, 0. Now we have 6 in the top 3, 10 in the top 3, 12 in the top 3. So it works for not just one page, it works for multiple pages. I think there might been some other silos going on here. And when I say silos, I mean nothing about what other people are talking about, like with internal links, with like pages. As far as I can tell, that demotes you, or it just confuses your rankings, and you would rank in spite of it. I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. I'll retest it because someone else just told me a new way to do it that they think was wonderful. So maybe it is. So I'll test it. I will find out for sure. But you just keep getting better and better and better and more and more and more. And then boom, 47 spots overnight with a combined method of something and something. So they're combining the different methods in the group and they're getting results. And so it goes on. Add science, change. Here's another one that I think is interesting. is that also for the featured snippet. So for the position 0 featured snippet, we've got tricks for that. We've got knowledge for that. So that one was interesting there as well. It's a different way to manipulate Google SERP. Like if you don't need to do, you don't have to buy links or whatever or do all this crazy stuff. If you can just get the featured snippet, then of course you can pop right up above everybody, even above sometimes the ads or like the questions, the Google properties or whatnot. And here's a good one to take a look at of the comparison between Cora and us. Cora got him boosts, but then drops. And then instead of using the Cora roadmap suggestions, he revisited it with some of our latest tactics. And then, as he says, using Cora will certainly get you part of the way sometimes, but it's not the full picture. It's just not. Even the author, he's gonna be pissed off that I'm saying this, so he won't admit it now. But he has admitted in the past that Cora is just part of the problem, part of the solution rather. It's part of the ranking problem, just getting part of you the way there. And I want you to pay close attention to this. It says the material Josh gives is not easy to digest. For those of you who have been drinking on the teat of SEO for a long time or don't know that the technical background stuff, you might have some issue. But as he says, it's the bleep truth. And so you can either have results. Your search console can look like this with the other groups, even the good ones. And then, or you can get huge boosts like this from my group. So, I mean, I think that's enough. I think it'd be overkill to keep going on that. So that's in Bitly SEO proof. That's just my access to it. If you want to go to bit.ly/SEO proof, that's what you'll see or get. And then you can just take a look at it from there. And then you should see, if I click on, let's say, this one, I don't know, here, you can see there's 314 of them. So some of them are listed as to what they did, but there's 314 examples. So I challenge you to go find any groups that have any better. Okay, so the last questions here before I sign off. Hey Josh, would multiple links from the same domain possibly trigger a penalty? If not, would it be worth it? It depends on what you're doing with the links and how the links look. But no, multiple links from the same domain are. It depends how much they cost. They could be worth it, possibly. It depends on how much they cost. If they cost you nothing and there's no risk, depending on how you're doing it, then yeah, then get it. But no, in general, the general rule of thumb and our tested rule is you want to get one link from one domain and then move on. That's the way it's been in SEO for the last 15 years. So I don't see any reason for that to change or be any different. Nick says, how to overcome that because I've experienced it myself. Nick, if you can type in what you mean by that, I'll try to answer it. If you can type that in really quick. I'm not sure what you mean. Ryan, one of my apprentices and students, says, I jumped from the bottom of page 2 to spot 3 to 4 with just on-page stuff from Josh. Yay! That was that's good because in one of our tests, I think we hurt your site. One of our tests, or one of our negative SEO tests, or one of our tests, I think we used your site by accident, or you donated it, and I think we hurt it. So I'm glad you've gotten past the spot where you were, and you've even gotten higher up. I think that happened. So, disclaimer: I'm not using students as test sites anymore, so don't worry about your site. Oh, by the way, Joseph Alivar is me, in case you saw that on the show before. Mike Calvin says, would a link from YouTube be more powerful if the video has tons of views, engagement, or if a lot of folks are clicking through? I have no idea. I haven't tested that. I've just been making links in YouTube for a while, but I've never tested that. So I really have no idea, to tell you the truth, if that is the way that works. So Nick, if you're still listening, I don't know what you meant by how to overcome that because I've experienced it myself. I don't know what you're talking about there. Maybe you're talking about this multiple links thing. Yeah, links are the not what everyone thinks they are. Everyone thinks links are the big thing you need to get. It's really not the case. In fact, if you're doing it right, you don't need a lot, really. You might need some. I'm not going to make the radical thesis that you don't need any. It really depends on the niche. I'm about to test that. I'm about to do a really big head term test. Rank for a major head term that you'd think would be ridiculous, that an SEO could never rank for anymore. I'm going to see how far on it I can get, and without breaking the bank onto hundreds of thousands of dollars of links from newspapers or something like that. But if that's what it takes, then of course I have the resources to do it. But that'd be spending a lot of money for a vanity project. I don't know if that'd be worth it doing it, quite frankly. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for paying attention. This has been the SEO Science Show. If you have any questions, please email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. If you'd like more information about the group, it will be closing soon. If you want to join it, go email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. I need to ask you some questions to see if you're eligible for the group. You can go right to secretseo.guru and pay if you like, but I'll still ask you the questions. And if you're not a fit for our group, I will refund your money and give it back. In fact, I'll probably go turn off the link on Secret SEO Guru pretty soon. If you have any SEO questions at all, even a quick little 5-minute question, I'd be happy to see if I can try to answer it for you at joshbachynski@gmail.com. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. And as I always say, good luck in the SERPs.